Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to learn how to measure and cut a paper illustration of a shirt. So let's get right into it. So I'm so sorry. First of all, I'm going to apologize because the basic side of this paper illustration wasn't really showing, and I didn't realize it until after the video was made. So I first of all used my ruler to trace the basic line, and then I did my full length measurement. There you have it, which is 25 inches, and then I went ahead to add 1 inch seam allowance. That is what I'm trying to measure and mark with that ruler over there. And so after that, then I'll go ahead to trace my chest line, which it will be 9 inches from the shoulder. That's the basic line. The basic line is going to be my shoulder measurement line, and then from there I trace 9 inches, which is the chest line, and then I trace 17.5, which is the waist line. So these are basically the measurements you need for a shirt, as in the measurements you need to cut a shirt. So that's just it. That's female shirt specifically. That is what I'm trying to measure and cut right here. Now, this is a simple way to measure and cut a female shirt. Very simple and easy tutorial. You guys would definitely love it. So after that, then you draw your straight line for easy measurements. So I went ahead to name all the lines: the shoulder, the basic line, which is my shoulder. The next is the chest line, and then the waist and full length. So right there, which wasn't really showing, I had to measure my I had to measure the 2.5 inches for the button hole. That's 2.5 inches that I will fold for the buttonhole. I went ahead to measure it from the top to the bottom, and then I drew my straight line. So that's that. So the next thing to do is to get my shoulder measurement. Definitely this part you're not seeing here, you're going to see it on the back piece of this shirt paper illustration. You're going to see it on the back piece, so just be patient with me and continue to watch. So the next thing I did was to get my shoulder measurements. That's your shoulder divided by 2, you place, and then my chest measurement, which is the bust measurements, and then the full length measurements. There I use the hip measurements. That's your hip divided by 4. Whatever you have, you place it and mark. Your bust divided by 4. Whatever you have, you place on the chest line and you mark. And then I went ahead to get my seam allowance. I use 2 inches for seam allowance on the hip side. That is the full length. And then on the chest line, I use 1.5 inch seam allowance. There you have it. So I go ahead and use my ruler, but first of all, I'm trying to get that shoulder measurement. I traced it down to the chest line, and then I draw my straight line, and then I went ahead to now draw to connect the chest line to connect the bust measurements to the hip measurements that I took on the full length measurement. So if you're new here on this channel, please do well to subscribe. And for my returning subscribers, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you for your support. So the next thing I did was to get my neck measurements. I used 2.5 inch. I used 2 inches for the width, and then I used 4 inches for the depth. Now I'm going to use my marker to trace it down. Now, instead of making it straight just like you're seeing, instead of doing that, which will be very wrong, I went ahead to now curve it. I had to curve the line over there. So instead of cutting it straight, if you cut it straight, you're going to affect your sewing. Instead of doing that, when you get to that particular line, then you curve it. And then I did my shoulder slope measurement. That's what I did right there. So sorry guys, once again I apologize. You're going to see this particular spot in the back piece. So for the waistline, I came in by 1 inches, and then I tilt it. I had to curve it because if you cut this shirt like this, it won't give you any shape. So to give the shirt a shape, you come in by 1 inches on the waistline and then you curve it to give it a shape. And then for your shoulder measurements, you divide it. That's from your shoulder to your chest line. What I have there is 8 inches. I divide it by 2, gives me 4 inches. And then I came in by half an inch and then I curve to get my armhole curve. And then that's that for the front piece. Then for the back piece, so there you have it. You're going to see everything you didn't see in this front piece. So I drew my basic line just like you're seeing, and then I went ahead to measure my full length measurement, which is 26 inches. That is 25 plus 1 inch seam allowance for the folding, making it 26. And then I mark with my ruler. So the next thing I did, I went ahead to measure my shoulder measurements. The shoulder is 16 inches, divided by 2 gives me 8 plus half inches seam allowance, which is 8.5. And then I mark. So the next thing I did was to measure the chest measurement, which is the chest measurement for the armhole, which I use 9. So now whatever you missed in the front piece, you are going to get everything in this back piece. So I went ahead to now mark a straight line to show my chest line. So after that, I now went ahead to mark my waist measurements. I want to trace my waist measurements so that it will give me easy access for the cutting of the shirt. So that's that. I use my ruler and I traced it and I mark. So next thing I did is to name all the lines: shoulder, the chest line, the waist, and the full length. So that's that. So remember, the chest line, that's the bust, and the full length, you're going to use your bust and your hip specifically, and then you divide by 4. Whatever you have is what you will place there, just like I'm doing right now. So I went ahead to mark my bust measurements, and then I mark my hip measurements. So the next thing I'll try to do is to make sure I get the same shoulder measurement on the chest line to give me a straight line for my armhole curve. So that's that. So the next thing I did is to draw my line to connect that bust measurement with the hip measurement. After connecting it, then I add all my seam allowance, which is 1.5 for the bust and then 2 inches for the hip side. And then I use my ruler to connect all the lines so that it will be easy for you to understand. So that's that. And then I did same thing. I came in by 1 inches and then I curved it. So right here, I went ahead to get my shoulder slope. But before then, I will have to cut my neck measurement. For the width is the same 2 inches, and for the depth, instead of 4 inches as I did in the front, I used 1.5 and then I connected it. So that's that. So the 1 inch shoulder slope, I will use it to connect to the neck. So right here, I am trying to get my armhole curve. That's the first initial armhole curve. And then my chest, my armhole length, I divided the remaining by 2, which gives me 4. And then I came in on that spot by half inches and then my new armhole measurement. So that's that. Okay, I hope this tutorial was helpful and I hope it will come in handy when you need it. So thank you guys for watching this tutorial. So the next thing to do is to show you guys how I cut all this paper illustration out. So when cutting on your main fabric, you can fold into 2 and cut the front piece and the back piece. Then the front, you will divide it. So thank you guys for watching. Bye.